Okay, today we're going to take the final step in the resurrection here of my 2004 Apple PowerBook G4 laptop. Now you might say to yourself, resurrection, hey, I see a little white power light there. It looks like it's running to me. Well, you would be correct in saying that, with several asterisks, which I will get to right now. This machine suffered in the previous few months from a dead hard drive and a dead logic board. They actually both blew simultaneously from the best that I could ascertain. Now, I'm not a professional IT or computer repair person. I'm basically entirely self-taught, and I am pretty well versed in these machines hardware-wise, just from doing my own research and from the repairs, which I will tell you about in just a minute. When this hard drive died back in the summertime, I thought that bringing this machine back would be just as simple as getting a new hard drive and installing Leopard on it, which I was previously running. Well, much to my dismay, upon installing a new hard drive, this machine did not do anything. It didn't turn on, it didn't make the Macintosh startup chime, nothing. You would hit the button and it would just be as dead as a doornail. Well, come to find out that the logic board had also failed. And after installing my second logic board, the first one had a faulty GPU, I did get the machine to boot, and I was able to install OS 10.3.4, not Leopard, which I will revisit in just a minute. But anyway, I've owned this machine for about 8 years, and I suppose I could have just went ahead and bought a new MacBook. I mean, not that I'm made of money, but I certainly could afford it if I had to, and I would really enjoy buying a new one, except that I really do love this machine. It's very capable for what I ask out of it, which isn't a whole lot. I basically just do web browsing, a little bit of email. I also did, I still do a little bit of light video editing with Final Cut Express HD. Again, not a lot, but it's very capable as far as what I ask out of it, and personally I just love the design of it, the cosmetics, the aluminum case. This one is actually in fantastic shape. I don't know how, because I have done a lot of typing on it, but I try to keep it clean. The keys are in immaculate condition, as is the trackpad and the palm rests. The screen is in excellent shape, no dead pixels, very bright, very clear. So I thought it a good idea to get this machine up and running again. And although support is gradually being dropped for a lot of things, particularly Flash, there are some workarounds for that as far as YouTube goes and the like, different plugins. So I'm going to play around with that and see if I can get it up to speed. But anyway, the specs on this machine, again, it's running 10.3.4, and I'll tell you why in just a minute. It's got a 1.5 gigahertz PowerPC processor, and it does have 2 gigabytes of RAM. Now, these machines, as some people know, are plagued by a problem of which I'm not sure the origin, but a problem where the bottom RAM slot goes bad, and consequently it only recognizes whatever is in the top slot. And that problem did affect this machine previously, but since I've installed a new hard drive, it now does recognize the full 2 gigabytes of RAM, as you can see there. And 2 gigabytes of RAM by today's standards is not a lot, but it is the most that this machine can run, so I'm going to have to make do with that. Now, why is it running OS 10.3.4? Well, sadly, when I buttoned this machine back up and got the hardware all straightened out, I could not find my OS Leopard DVD anywhere. I scoured the whole house, looked high and low, and it was nowhere to be found. Where is it? I don't know. Maybe I threw it out by mistake. I couldn't tell you. But anyways, I decided to throw down the 50 bucks on eBay on a new Leopard DVD, and that DVD just arrived today. So I'm going to go ahead and, as the last piece of the puzzle in getting this machine back to a workable state, I'm going to install Leopard on it. And I'm also going to use the migration tool to migrate some of my applications and data off of the old hard drive, which I subsequently found out still is readable as far as getting data off it. It just won't boot. So what I did was I got an external FireWire enclosure and I put the drive in there, and it does mount on this system. Unfortunately, I don't have that with me at this current location, so I'm going to step away for a minute, and when we come back I'm going to proceed with the installation of Leopard. Okay, so I did locate the drive that we're going to use to hopefully migrate some of the data and applications onto the new drive. I also procured, as I mentioned before, this Mac OS Leopard DVD. I haven't tested it until just this minute, so I'm hoping it's okay. It does look to be in pretty good shape, so I'm not too worried about that. So let's give it a shot. I'll slide it in here and we will see what happens. The super drive here on this machine is actually one of the few things that I did not replace in the last several months. Sounds like it's spinning up and reading okay. Okay, there we go. Now I'm actually going to restart the machine here. I'm going to boot directly from this DVD because I'm going to actually erase the hard drive and start fresh in order to do this using disk utility. I really don't have to do that since it already has the install of 10.3.4, but I'm going to start with a fresh install just because. And then, like I said, hopefully use this piece of machinery right here to take some of my applications, particularly Final Cut Express, which I do my video editing on. One day I'll have the money for Final Cut Pro, but that day will not be today, unfortunately. I'm hoping this boots from the DVD, but we'll see what happens. Good Lord. Okay. Choose your language. Let's do this one in English. And we'll go ahead and hit continue. I agree to the agreement, sure. And I think what we're actually going to do is jump over into disk utility, and we're going to wipe this drive. It says it's a 111 gig hard drive. I think it's actually $120, but 111 is the usable portion, I think, and it said there was 106 available. But we want to go ahead and wipe this drive. I'm going to click on the drive here. It's the 111 gigabyte Samsung HM whatever. And I'll click on the erase tab and erase. And we'll say OK. Alright. That didn't take too long. Then I'll go ahead and partition it. We're going to go with just one partition, and I'm going to name it Macintosh hard drive. I can't type, sorry. Extended journal, yeah, that sounds good. I'm not really into these nuances here so much. Apple partition map, which we're going to use for it is a PowerPC Mac, so we'll stay with that. I won't do GUID. because that's for Intel Mac, so we'll leave it right there. I will hit apply, and then I will hit partition and let it do its thing. Partition complete. Fantastic. Alright, so I will get out of disk utility. And we now have over 110 gigabytes available on this drive. So we will proceed with the install. This is really a long time coming. Let me just step back here for just a minute. I think I touched on it in the first part of the video. I'm having trouble remembering because that was actually a couple of days ago. But I think I touched on the fact that this machine really has not run in any way, shape, or form since early July, I believe. Late June, early July. And it's been really tough not having a laptop to use because this is my only laptop. I still use my Dell Dimension 2350 as my primary machine, but it is going to be nice to have this machine back, so certainly looking forward to it. Okay, I don't know how long this is going to take, but I presume it's going to take a while. Wow, that really did take a long time. I'm going to say that took almost an hour, but we're here at the install succeeded screen. So this is going to restart automatically in 5 seconds, but I'll just give it the old restart myself. And where the migration part will come in is anybody's guess. I didn't tape it just now, but I attempted to back up from this FireWire drive, and it actually didn't let me because in order to do what I wanted to do, you have to restart the other Mac, which is connected via FireWire, and that is not actually a Mac, it's just a drive. So I'm going to go ahead and hit Do Not Transfer My Info now. You can connect with the, or you can transfer via the Migration Assistant later on, so that's what I'll do. Okay, so after playing around for a little bit, I managed to actually get this FireWire drive to mount, and it turns out that it does recognize it as a backup disk, and which is great because I really do want to migrate all of my things from the old drive. So I'm going to hope that this works, and here we go. We are going to transfer the network settings. We're going to transfer the time zone. We'll transfer the whole ball of wax. How's that? I really hope this works, because what I noticed was when I did this install of Leopard, a lot of the applications that I had on the machine previously were no longer there when I installed this version. Such as iDVD, iMovie, GarageBand, which I subsequently found out are part of the iLife suite, something that I wasn't really familiar with. But nonetheless, it will be nice to have them on the machine if the migration goes according to plan. So it's transferring now. Uh-oh, an error has occurred that prevents the transfer process from continuing. I've tried this about 3 or 4 times now, and I cannot get it to finish the migration. Some kind of a read error on the drive, and my best guess would be that it's related to the problem I originally had with this drive, in that it would not boot. And I assume it's a similar situation here of maybe a corrupted file on the drive, or just some sort of a read issue, more than likely. I'm really not going to spend too much more time worrying about it. I mean, I've got a nice clean install on here of 10.5.6, which as soon as I have an internet connection, I'll go ahead and update it to 10.5.8, along with other software updates, iTunes definitely, maybe Safari. I discovered last night, though, that the onboard Ethernet adapter for this machine most likely is defective, because not having wireless here, I attempted to connect it to the wired network, to which I found out that system settings says that the cable is unplugged, which it very clearly is not unplugged. So somewhat of a problem, but being a used logic board, I guess I'll just have to deal with it. Not a huge issue, because again, I can't remember the last time that I had to use a wired network. I pretty much operate exclusively on wireless networks, and I'm hoping that I'm able to connect to the networks I need to. The airport card does work. It is picking up networks right now here in the condo complex, none of which I have a password for, but even if they weren't password protected, I wouldn't jump on the networks because, well, that's just not what I do. But we're going to go ahead and call it a day here. But overall, I'd call this a success. I have a working, running machine now, which is more than I could say for the last 6 months or so. I really like the machine. I hope it's got a little bit of life left in it. And I'm going to go ahead and use it for basically as much longer as I possibly can. So I hope you've enjoyed this. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you soon.